So y'all just gonna let the Kansas City Chiefs get the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker? Y'all gonna give this man another weapon?
I'm dead.
He hot. He hot.
Jerry Jones, where you at? Man, Kansas City going back to the Super Bowl, man.
Oh man, I love it. Hey, if y'all don't know, I'm Big Temp. That's Mr. Mike LaFleur. We are the Cave Cast. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been a subscriber to the channel and followed us for the last 2 years. I completely forgot about that. And for those of you who haven't followed us or just now seeing our channel, we want to say thank you and welcome, and hit that sub button. You know, we love to keep you guys around and check out some of our older content. We do a lot of Chiefs football. We do a lot of NBA once the playoffs really get around and get going. And, you know, as you can tell, we are Chiefs fans. So with that being said, what you just heard was Bubba Dub, who is I don't know. He claims to be a Cowboys fan, but every time they start losing, he starts switching jerseys. So I don't know for sure, but he is right. The Kansas City Chiefs picking up Kenneth Walker is one of the biggest signings we've made in quite a while, as far as offense is concerned. I don't know if we've made a signing like this offensively that has been this relevant in a long time as far as a free agent goes.
Probably the closest one I can think of is Sammy Watkins.
That's probably close, but not anywhere close to this. You're talking about a guy who just won the Super Bowl MVP. He's what, 25 years 25 years old, man. He's still young enough that, you know, you got to remember, Sammy was coming off a couple of injuries. He hadn't really played a full season.
Listen, man, when we got Sammy Watkins, bruh, look, I'm not saying this. I get the whole Super Bowl MVP part, but that was when we first got Pat too with Tyree. I don't know, man. I remember that, man.
I'm not saying it wasn't. It was very, very important. It was a very good signing. Very good signing. This might be the best offensive signing that they've made on this roster since Pat's been there. I'm just saying that on my end. I believe that. And trust me, we have something that we can look forward to now with the run game. And mind you, I'm a Kareem Hunt fan and have been since we drafted him, and then he left and came back. And even I understand that a running back or any player has a shelf life, right? Kareem, I believe, I would love to have Kareem come back for this season as a short yardage back. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what I would like. But there's other things that are concerning me with the Kansas City Chiefs. Getting a running back of this caliber makes a huge difference for Patrick Mahomes, because one of the best ways you protect your QB is you have a run game. But in order to do that, you need to have competent running backs. I believe that K9, Kenneth Walker, is a very good and competent running back. But like I said, there's another side to this, you know, this whole story, right? Because while the Chiefs may have just upgraded their offense, they have taken a major hit in the secondary, especially with the loss of Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Brian Cook. So the real question becomes this: did Kansas City just help Mahomes while creating a problem on the other side of the ball? Let's break it down. I know this is something everybody's wanting to talk about, so I figured I better bring it up. Now, this is what Kenneth Walker brings to the Chiefs. especially, like I said, the offensive side. When you talk about Kenneth Walker, you're basically talking about an explosiveness as far as the run game goes. This isn't just a running back who can grind, out 3 yards or, fall forward. Walker is a home run hitter. We've seen him do it. One cut, one missed tackle, and suddenly he's in the secondary. For years now, defensive players have been comfortable doing one thing against the Chiefs: dropping 2 safeties deep and daring Kansas City to run the football. And honestly, sometimes the Chiefs, they couldn't punish a team for doing that shit. But Kenneth Walker changes that equation, right? Now, if defenses stay in those light boxes, Walker can make them pay. His ability to accelerate through the hole forces linebackers and safeties to come downhill faster. And when that happens, that's when the play action game, opens up. That's when Patrick Mahomes becomes even more dangerous. Because Mahomes has always been at his best when defenses are forced to respect the run. Now, Mike, you said something earlier about light boxes with Kenneth Walker, right? Remember we were talking about that. Did I lose you again? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what we were talking about the other day? We were talking about how Kenneth Walker, the run game with light boxes, and how effective he is when it comes to light boxes. Okay.
Dude.
The biggest takeaway you had when watching Kenneth Walker against light boxes is what? What's the biggest takeaway you had?
You said when he's going against light boxes?
Yeah, when he's going against light boxes.
Yeah, I think he was like, when he's with the Seahawks have the 4th highest stacked box in the league. And my whole point was that with the Chiefs, he'll be facing, I think they were 32nd in the league in light
Okay.
boxes or shit like that.
So
So
basically
think
they're
about,
gonna
yeah, exactly. Like think about what he did behind the 4th stacked box, running behind that, and then what he'll do with Kansas City with the lead, the team with the worst amount, for the light amount of boxes he'll have with Kansas City compared to what he was
exactly.
at with Seattle.
And I
So
think that's kind of what I was trying to get at, is that Kansas City was, people didn't stack the box against him. They didn't have to worry about that, right? So now imagine linebackers stepping forward to stop Walker. Imagine safeties creeping toward the line of scrimmage. Okay? That's when the deep shots open up. This is what we've been asking for a while. That's when the offense becomes unpredictable again. In other words, Kenneth Walker doesn't just help the running game. He makes life easier for Mahomes and the whole offense, right? To me, the reason it matters the most for Mahomes is because Mahomes has carried this offense for years. But when the Chiefs have been in at their absolute best, they've had balance. You think about it. When they've been at their best, they have balance. Think back to the season when Kansas City had a legitimate running threat. It forced defenses into uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable choices. That's what they did. Do you commit to stopping the pass, or do you stop the run? That's the choices you want your defenses to make. With Kenneth Walker in the backfield, defenses may not be able to cheat the same way that they've been doing. And that means Mahomes doesn't have to play superhero every single week. I mean, we watched him do it for so long until it eventually kind of caught up with him because he had to keep, I mean, think about it. First game of the season, he's running like it's the playoffs. We don't want that this year, right? With Kenneth Walker, the offense becomes more efficient, more balanced, more dangerous. But there is a problem. The secondary. So if you flip to the other side of the ball, while the Chiefs may have gotten better offensively, their secondary has taken a hit. There's the loss of Trent McDuffie. McDuffie wasn't just another corner. He was the glue of the defense, especially in the secondary, a guy who could, cover elite receivers, blitz off the edge, and make plays all over the field. Then there's Jalen Watson, who developed into a very reliable outside corner. And finally, Brian Cook, who was a physical presence at safety. He helped stabilize the back end for us. That's three key pieces from the 2023 draft class or 2022 draft class that have gone from the defensive backside. Okay. They were already being asked to do a lot. And the reality is, replacing one starting defensive back is tough. Replacing three, that's a major challenge. So
I'm not gonna lie, the safety part, I'm not really tripping on since we signed what's his name.
yeah, but I want to see what he looks like now that he's going to probably be the starting safety over, for the long haul.
I mean, he was a starting safety with the Ravens, wasn't
well,
he?
well, he was, but he wasn't before when he came from the Chargers. They had somebody he was sharing time with, and it made it easier, for Kyle Hamilton for them to put him at that safety position full time when he got there. It didn't start off that way. They had to merge it into that situation. Probably about the third game he was there, that's what they did. They moved Kyle Hamilton into more of a down in the box kind of, linebacker-ish kind of role. And he took on the role as a free safety at that point.
I put it this way: we haven't had a safety like him, a free safety that can actually cover in a very long time. Like,
And he
we
does
usually
make
don't get those kind of safeties.
so what this means for me as far as the Chiefs defense is this. Under Steve Spagnuolo, they have thrived, especially on communication and trust, especially in the secondary. Corners have to know where their help is. Safeties have to disguise coverages. And everyone has to be on the same page. Now, when you lose players, especially like McDuffie, Watson, and Cook, you're not just losing talent. You're losing experience. And in today's NFL, where offenses are spreading the field and throwing the ball more, especially more than ever, that secondary is going to be tested early and often. The big picture for me, as far as this goes, with the move, especially of these guys, and it creates an interesting dynamic for Kansas City. On one hand, we have the Chiefs may have just made life easier for Patrick Mahomes by adding a legitimate explosive running back. On the other hand, the defense now has serious questions in the secondary.
Hey, I just thought about something.
What?
So you know what I think they're doing? So that draft was the 2022 draft, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so think about what we were thinking going into that year. Because I think we drafted 11 players. It was 10 or 11.
We had 12 picks. We only drafted 10. We only
I
got
think it was
10.
10 or 11. Yeah. So, you know what I think they're doing? So these
Trying
last
to
two drafts, the last two, not 22. I'm thinking about 23 and 24 mainly, and 25 as well. I think what's going on is so the last three drafts, 23 or 23, 24, and 25, they haven't really let the majority of the rookies actually play.
Exactly.
Like if you really think about it,
I think
only
you're
like
getting.
a select few.
I think you're
You know
right
what I'm
where I'm
saying?
thinking. Yeah, I think you're right
Yeah.
where
So
I'm
like
thinking with
there's
this.
like a select few that they obviously Josh Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Rasheed Rice was kind of a slow burner in the beginning, but they didn't have a choice, so they played him
Yeah.
more as the season went along. Same with Worthy.
Yeah.
But like overall, those dudes didn't really get to play like as a whole.
No, not a lot. They got sparingly, minutes
Yeah,
here, minutes there, and then as the season got longer, you know,
they got more playing time. Like when
got more
injuries
playing
came
time.
up,
Yeah.
exactly. So what I think they're doing is, and I feel like this is the reason why they let all these dudes walk, is because I think what they realize is if we give Mahomes an offense that has weapons and he can, you take the load off of him, you give him a running game, maybe you get a receiver in the draft. I don't know. But if
Yep.
and here's the thing, our defensive line was actually not bad in 22.
No, it wasn't.
They were pretty good actually.
They were.
I
They
think we
were
got
really.
like
You had
50,
you had the
50
second
sacks
most.
that season.
You had the second most sacks in the league that season.
Yeah, exactly. So what I think they're doing is that they're banking on having a really good draft in this upcoming draft
Hmm.
and letting these dudes play
Why not?
from day one,
Why wouldn't you?
which is the opposite of what they've done the last 3 years. But notice in the last 3 years, they haven't had as much success as far as like players developing either.
Yep.
Like
And
overall,
look at what the Rams did 2 years ago. The Rams had a bunch of guys that they got as rookies, right? And they brought them in and they just started playing them right away. And they got
right?
better. They got better each week, right? I think that's what you have to do. These guys, a lot of these guys are, they've played so much football that by the time you get them into the pros, you really can't just sit these guys. You got to give them playing time. And I've always said things that players need: opportunity, right? Opportunity, good coaching, right? Get you a good coach in there, and a little bit of fucking, you know, belief. A
Yeah,
coach
because
that believes.
remember in 22, everybody was questioning our secondary and how many rookies we was playing.
Look at the
Because I
big
think
plays they made down
we
the
were the
stretch. Look,
first team to win a Super Bowl that had like 10 starting rookies or something like that in a long
we had
time.
we had a lot of rookies playing. Look at the plays they made in the Super Bowl. Look at the plays they made in
Yeah.
that Super Bowl in 22.
Like that was the year that fucking Watson returned that fucking touchdown for from I think it was the Chargers game.
Yep, that was the first game of the season.
Uh
First
yeah,
game of the
like
season.
that. I think that's what they're banking on is
So
letting the draft class. They're gonna use all like we got 9 picks, right?
yeah, and that's
If we
probably
draft if we draft all 9, I think all 9 are playing to some degree.
that's probably why they were willing to let Chanel go, because he was more of an athlete and he couldn't cover sideline to sideline as well as I would like to have been. But I think that's the reason why they were more willing to let him go, because of the price he was going to be able to demand. Plus, they had Bossa in the waiting, who's just a really really good coverage
I'm
fucking
not gonna lie.
linebacker.
I'm not
I
gonna lie.
know it
Look,
hurt me. It hurt me. It
hold on,
hurt
hold
me.
on. Listen, I gotta say this. The whole look, the price thing to me is BS. Because in my opinion, you could have cut Tranquil, who's
True.
making like 6 point something million,
True.
and you could have used that money and paid Chanel an extra what,
I
2 million? And
I
you would
truly
have,
believe
you know
that.
what I'm saying? Like,
I I
bro,
believe that too, but I have to try to convince myself that by having Bossa as a backup, who was there in the waiting, you got to give him some reps as well. This is going to give him a chance to play.
I
right?
agree. And I look, this the only thing that will make me heal from this Chanel BS. You draft Jacob Rodriguez and all is forgiven.
Ooh, ooh. So here's
Draft
the
Jacob Rodriguez and I will forgive Veach for his sins.
here's the question then. Can the offense carry more of the load for the Chiefs this year? Can the Chiefs develop or draft the next group of defensive backs for their team? And most importantly, will the improved run game unlock another level for Mahomes?
I
Because
think
if
so.
if
And
Kenneth
I actually think
Walker if Kenneth Walker forces defenses to change how they play Kansas City, the Chiefs offense might be about to look a
that
lot more dangerous.
this is what I don't think people understand, man. Mahomes has never
Had a
had a
1,000-yard run back.
legit threat in the backfield. I can't stress this
He
enough.
he did
He's
he did
never
he did,
win.
but wait. He did with Kareem in Patrick's first
Yeah,
year
but
starting,
Mahomes,
but then
that
he
was
then
barely a year though. Like I'm talking
I
about
know
Mahomes. You get what
I
I'm
know
saying? That was his
I
first
know
year in the league.
I know,
Well,
but think
start.
about it. I want to say that fucking Kareem had like 800 or 900 yards in the ninth game of the season. I mean, he was killing it that year, and then that shit happened with the chick at the
But I'm
hotel.
saying though that was Mahomes is like basically his
It was
rookie
his rookie
year.
year. It was his rookie
Yeah, you
year.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
look, man. And here's the thing: I love Kareem.
he was my
Kareem should
guy.
have been
He's
an
still
all
my guy.
time great. He should have been an all time Chief running back, bro.
He should have been.
That was his trajectory, like literally.
He should have
Here's
been.
my and Kareem was great, but here's the thing that K9 has on him, even at a young Kareem. K9 has the ability to make dudes miss and open, and not even in just open space, but in any situation, and he can take it to the house. That
Yes,
changes the defense
yes, it
or how the
does.
defenses are playing you.
It's going to change a lot on the defense that is opposing the Chiefs. The teams now are going to have to try to stack the box, and when they do, we understand what that does for the offense as a whole. Everything's on the table now. The thing about the fucking defense is that if they struggle in the secondary, then every game could turn into a shootout for the Chiefs, right? And that's something the Chiefs are going to have to figure out fast. You know, that's what I worry about a little bit. But like you said, by them having this amount of picks and being willing to, okay, think to themselves, with Day Merritt, we know we can develop corners. We have a good start with Noah Williams. We think is going to be really fucking good, right? We still have Christian Fulton, who is a veteran corner who didn't get a chance to play much last year, but we don't know why for sure. But he's still a vet. You still have other guys like CRW who's there. You know, I think they're going to make another run at a couple corners in this draft. I think there's going to be a couple of defensive tackles or defensive ends in this draft that the Chiefs are going to take. I think they're probably going to take a wide receiver at number 1 at number 9. I'm going to be honest with you. The more and
Yeah,
more, it's probably
I'm thinking the same. I just man, every time I
it's
do a
looking
little mock draft,
it's looking
Bane
more and
is
more.
literally never there, bro.
I know, and that's what it worries me is because if Bain is not there at 9, which I don't think he will be, I have a funny feeling that they're going after wide receiver at 9.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. While we're like recording as we speak, I did a mock draft on PFF,
While
and
we were doing the recording,
like literally right now, and I did it for the first 3 rounds, right?
yeah.
Guess what my picks were? Now this would be a freaking plus draft. Just the first 4 picks.
Okay,
This
so
would be an A plus.
if I'm saying your first pick, I'm going to say Reuben Bain wasn't there at number 9, so you went with Carnell Tate.
Okay, you right.
Okay. Now, at 29, I'm going to say You're probably looking at defensive line, so it's either going to be Keldrick Falk or Zion Young.
Okay, look, I'm gonna just tell you.
Okay.
So it was Carnell Tate. This would be listen. If this actually happened, this is a pipe dream. So it
Okay,
was
well,
Carnell
let's see.
Tate,
Okay.
T.J. Parker at 29,
That was my other guess. Damn it. I like TJ Parker too.
Zion Young at 40,
Ooh.
and then Mike Washington at 74.
Oh, hey. Now, that's your
That
that's your
if
first
that's the
four.
first 4 picks, my nigga,
That's your
bruh.
first four. That's your first four. And two of them are defensive players, two of them are offense. That's a good mix right there. That's in your top 100 for the Chiefs. That means everything else, those next five,
Safety and corners.
you got to go and get you two corners. You got to go and get you possibly another.
I would say one safety. I don't think you need two.
Yeah, another safety, and then maybe look and check and see if you could find you like one more defensive lineman or offensive lineman.
Probably a defensive interior guy.
Yeah. I would think that would probably be the thing that you
That
should do.
draft would be if this is what happened, bro. As a
That
matter of
would
fact,
be
I'm speaking this first four into existence.
Mike Washington with fucking Kenneth Walker and Brashard Smith.
Listen, man.
Ooh-wee.
If this happened, bro,
The
this would
speed
be
on
an
the
A
field,
plus draft.
the speed on the field would be nasty. And if you get Carnell Tate at number 9, now you got a guy who runs great routes. How big is Carnell Tate? I want to say he's like
6'2".
6'2",
He about
6'3".
6'2", almost 6'3". Yeah.
Okay, 6'2", 6'3", fucking, big wide receiver who's got good hands, really good hands. And you can throw it to him. Mahomes has been looking for a guy like this for a long time. That's a guy you might want to think about getting. I
Man,
keep
this
hearing
is, oh my
I
god.
keep hearing people say things about, what about Jordan Tyson? What about Mekhi Lemon? And listen, I like those guys, but they're the same kind of receivers that we've been getting for years. Because
Well,
they are a little. Jordan Tyson is interesting. He is interesting. I do like Jordan.
Okay, hold on. I gotta listen. Makai Lemon doesn't have the burst
No, he
or
doesn't.
the speed that I'm looking for.
No, he doesn't.
But
But he has the build.
he's nothing like anybody that's on this team.
But he does have the build. He has the build at 5'11", 195 pounds. He's basically
that's not a small receiver though.
No. He's not small, but he's built just like Tyreek is. Basically,
I think Tyreek was more of a pit bull in my opinion. But as far as like height and weight, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Little taller. He's a little taller, not by much.
Not by much. I think
Makai Lemon is 5'11". I think Tyreek is like 5'10" or something like that.
Well, Tyreek will tell you he's 5'10" all day. I hear him say it all the time.
Man, that dude. But yeah, Makai at 9 is no. I can't do it.
I can't see me going. No, I can't see me doing that.
Like 15 or something like that. Okay, cool.
Which is a possibility. Because if a guy that they want is not there, do you really want them to take somebody that they're really not high on, or they think that's not the value?
I'm not gonna lie. If none of those dudes are there, they're taking Sadiq.
If that was going to be my other question. If those guys aren't there, and that's what I was going to say. If they're not there, I can see them then saying, okay, what's our secondary option? Okay, it's going to be Kenyon Sadiq. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think that is a bad pick for them to get right there. Kenyon Sadiq is a freak athlete at tight end. He is a very, very good athlete. And the one thing we do know is that Noah Gray is not the next guy up. He's not.
No, he's a rotational guy, and he's getting older.
He's a rotational guy. We don't really know what
I'm still high on fucking Brenning Stool.
We don't know what Brenning Stool is about yet because we haven't got a chance to see him play as far as in the league. But there's still the opportunity and, the possibility that he's going to be, he's going to be on this team and he's going to make some impact somewhere. So we'll see how that works out. But I will say, now that we're in this mode of trying to find out what we can and cannot do, I think it's best to start thinking about having some kind of veteran presence on the defensive line to help as well. Cam Jordan is not a bad pick. You were talking about it earlier with me when we were not, recording. And I think that people who are saying that, no, you don't go get Cam Jordan, really need to think about this. This is a guy who can train these young guys as far as defensive edges go, how to become a professional in this league. He's an experienced Pro Bowler type of defensive end, and he's done it for years. Why would you not want to bring this guy to your team to help bring these other guys along? I don't understand that. I get it.
I
Yes.
agree.
1 year, yes, he's going to cost maybe about 9 to 10, $11 million. Okay, so be it. But the dude had 10 and a half sacks last season. And he is still only going to be, he's still going to be that guy. You don't have to play him every down. He's a rotational piece. You bring him in fucking passing situations when you know, hey, look, we got to get to the QB. Right? Simple as that. I don't understand people. I really don't.
Hey, I got a hot take too. Well, I don't even know if this probably is a hot take.
All right, well, let's hear your hot take.
Xavier Worthy's gonna have a breakout season.
I don't think that's necessarily a hot take for me because
the way that people talk about Worthy like he's the fucking worst first round draft pick, like, bro, the nigga is 22, y'all.
I'm gonna say this.
He's 22.
The addition of Chad O'Shea as the fucking wide receiver coach, an experienced wide receiver coach who has won 3 Super Bowls, I think is going to make a world of difference for that receiving room. Mark my words. It will make a big difference. Are there going to be some guys who are not going to still be able to be what maybe we thought they were? Possibly. But there are going to be guys who are going to benefit really, 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 like, phenomenally well from Chad O'Shea. What?
So I'm kind of torn because I don't know what's going to happen. So we got this situation with Rice. Now, I do think he's playing. I don't think he's getting suspended. There's been no sign of him potentially getting suspended, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's going to play as of right now.
Okay.
My thing is, if you draft a receiver like Tate, who's taking a back seat? Because you got to keep this in mind as well. We still got Thornton.
I know.
Who we just signed. And the elephant in the room, Jalen Royals. We don't even know what he is yet. He could be something that, we unlock and he's a monster.
Exactly.
We ain't even got a chance to see what he could be.
Here's the deal. If Tate is there, I know you just re-signed Tyquan Thornton, but I think you can use these guys in different sets, right? Like, you can bring in Rice and, let's say, Rice, Worthy, and Tate all at the same time, right? Or you can switch it up. You can have Royals, Rice, and Tate. You can have Royals, Xavier Worthy, and Tyquan Thornton. I mean, it just kind of depends on who you want to put in there for those, for certain plays. The way you scheme everything up. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
You can use him. You can still use him, but that's going to be the thing. We know that the Chiefs like to go to a lot of receivers, right? They like to use a lot of receivers. They like to spread the ball around, and you still have to remember. They do, but it didn't happen this past year because of
man. No, Rice came back. They was forcing that shit, man.
Well, true, but I think it was just because that there was some issues along with, I think the play calling was really suspect
I
at that
agree. I
time.
know play
So,
calling was part of that. Yeah,
fucking
for
bad.
sure. I just think that like I would hate to have to see one of those because I want to see because I think they would all have some like potential, but obviously there's going to be your main guys that you're going to.
Yeah,
There's going to be your main two
yeah.
that are going to be your focal point, and then everybody else kind of like eases in. You
And
know,
that's fine. You can ease in Carnell Tate because he's a rookie. So you
that
you
is
bring
true.
you bring
That
him
is true.
bring him along slowly. You got Royals because you did the same thing to Royals last year. You didn't bring him in and let him start playing right
How
away.
old is Tate? Let me see.
Not sure.
I'm about to
But
see.
if anything, Tate's the guy who's going to wind up being the guy who,
He's
comes in
21.
slow. Yeah, he comes in slowly. So you bring him in, and as the season progresses, he proves certain shit. Okay, cool. But the one thing I found out throughout history here recently, for the last 15 years for sure, the one thing you cannot do is you cannot go wrong with going after an LSU or a fucking Ohio State wide
No,
receiver.
that's true. And like that is fair. That is fair that you could kind of like Tate would probably be last on the pecking, the order,
Maybe,
just
we
because
never
of the
know.
fact he's a rookie
Yeah, and that's why I said
and he's
if it was me,
21.
I would definitely bring him along slower, as far as playing time. Let him learn under these guys, and as time goes on, okay, let's give him his time. Here's his routes. Here's his schemes. Here's his plays that he's going to be diagrammed in. Okay, this is what he's going to be a part of, and let him prove himself in those schemes. If he can prove himself in those schemes, now you start opening it up a little bit more for him, right? Getting him more involved, getting more snaps, right? That's what I would do. Because you still want to see what Royals has. You still want to be able to put him out there and give him a chance. And like you said, we don't know what's going to happen with Rice the following year.
Yeah, I think
We don't have no
this is
idea.
what I would do. Like, I would like if you draft Tate, like you say, bring him along slow. He'll get his little shine.
Yeah,
But then you could kind of more so focus on using the other what is that Rice Worthy, Royals,
yeah,
and Thornton,
yeah.
and then you could kind of squeeze in Tate, here and there.
Have we
But
heard
then the
anything?
next year,
Have we?
wait, what
Yeah,
you
the
gonna say?
next. No, so have we heard anything about Remigio? Have they made a
He
decision?
resigned, but it was like a what's that thing called? It's not a you know how they don't do like as a matter of fact I'm about to find it. It wasn't like a normal contract. It was like one of those
The tender, they did a tender for him,
hold
or
on, let me
no?
see.
A futures contract? I don't know why they would do a futures contract with his ass.
Hold on, it was I was just looking at it.
I just kind of wondered about that because that means now if you have Remigio, now you got another guy that's a wide receiver as well.
Hold on, it
You know,
was like a where is it at?
Remigio's contract, and
Well, because they had posted oh, it's in the chat. I think it's in the chat.
hey, and just so you guys know, I've been doing a 20-hour a day fast. It is fucking horrible.
I am so good.
Let me tell you, 20 hours a day, I'm fasting. 20 hours a day with no sugar, no cream in my coffee. Oh, I've been dreaming about donuts the last 2 days.
Bruh, speaking of donuts, man, I
Oh,
went to
here we go.
Lamar's the other day. Nigga, I got 2 donuts. Them shits was $10
For two? Oh,
for 2 donuts. Well, technically, one was like it was a cinnamon twist, so I guess it's not
so
technically a donut.
yeah, it's a
It's just
pastry.
$5.
Did you find
Almost
this shit?
six.
Did you find this shit about Remigio?
Oh my bad,
I said donuts and you went and lost your mind.
man. No, I just thought about it. These shits are expensive. God damn, this shit don't make no sense. Okay, I'm looking right now.
I'm trying to
Because I know
decide.
they signed him and what's that punter's name?
Ariza,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Ariza.
So
Yeah.
they signed them both to non-guaranteed 1.75 million
Okay.
1 year
So
deals.
non
So I
guaranteed.
think he's more of a camp invite at this point. It's not a guarantee he's going to be on the roster.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. That's reasonable. Uh,
Probably just a
let's.
camp body to have
Yeah.
somebody there just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. I don't think it means much of anything. So that's okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah,
Now.
but I think that like you said, you bring Tate on, kind of let him develop slowly, and then the next year,
Yeah.
because I don't think Rice is coming back. I don't think Rice is coming back the next year. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Got a funny feeling
I
you're
just
right.
don't see it.
I got a funny
So the
feeling you're right.
next year, then you'll have Worthy, you'll have Tate,
You have Royals and
and then you'll
Taekwon.
have Royals and Taekwon. That's your four.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Maybe a Tyreek Hill late year signing.
oh, I didn't even think about that.
Maybe. I mean, just saying.
Ooh,
Just saying.
man, I don't
You know.
know. This wide
I
receiver room
mean,
kind of getting a little full.
he been saying, I want to come home. I want to come home. He's sending hints out. So we'll see. We'll have to wait. Tyreek's got another surgery to go, so we'll see how that works out. So anyway, I don't have much else to talk about. I wanted to get this, and give my piece. And, Mike gave his information of what he thought might be the things that we need to do. This is just what we do. We talk sports and we try to make it as easily digestible as we possibly can, right? I don't throw a lot of numbers out because I think numbers are cool, but like I tell people all the time, the eye test for an athlete is the main thing I look at. I've always done that. So, and if you guys like football talk, any kind of sports talk as far as football and basketball goes, we try to give you as much as we can. We don't do it we don't throw out a bunch of content all week, but we do try to get at least something out every week to talk about what's happening, right? So if you enjoyed this content tonight, please hit the like button, hit that hype button as well. That helps us with the algorithm, gets us out to more people who may be interested in the same kind of content, but just don't know we're here because we are a small channel. So for Mr. Michael Flair and myself, I'd like to say thank you guys for joining us. This is the Cavecast, and I hope we get the chance to see you again next week. Y'all take it easy.